Turn on the tap and water comes out. For most of us, it's just that simple. But the men and women of El Paso Water know it's a lot more complicated than that.
It takes many, many years to put these things together.
John Ballou is the president and CEO of El Paso Water. The utility has built a worldwide reputation for innovation, all while quenching the thirst of our growing desert community.
We actually are blessed here in El Paso. We have several sources of water. Many communities just have one.
Historically, El Pasoans have relied upon wells to pump water from 2 underground aquifers. In the 1940s, the city started adding river water to the mix.
Between those 2 aquifers and the Rio Grande, that's where we get our supply.
El Paso Water supplements that supply with innovation, including desalinating brackish water, reclaiming wastewater for irrigation and industrial uses, and further purifying it to recharge the Hueco Bolson aquifer. EP Water also successfully encourages customers to conserve.
El Paso is going to be here for a long time. It's not just a community that's going to boom and bust like an old-time mining community.
So once again, it's time for El Paso Water to innovate. Following years of long-range planning, looking 50 years into the future to make sure our community has plenty of water, El Paso Water recently completed the purchase of tens of thousands of acres of farmland in Del City. The community sits about 90 miles east of El Paso, over the Bone Springs Victorio Peak Aquifer. Most of the purchases were funded with near 0% interest loans from the state of Texas. It's the latest step in a decades-long process to add a 3rd aquifer to the utility's water portfolio to meet growing demand. There's still a lot of work to be done. Electrical upgrades, right-of-way acquisitions, and completion of pump stations and a pipeline from Del City to El Paso. Importation to El Paso isn't expected to begin for another few decades, but a different kind of work is already underway in Del City.
Even when we start withdrawing water to import it into El Paso, any farmer in Del City that wants to continue farming will have water to continue farming. So there's going to continue to be a viable agricultural community there.
El Paso Water is currently working with farmers in the region to implement water-saving techniques to make supplies in the Bone Springs Victorio Peak Aquifer last longer for everyone. Practices like high-tech pivot monitoring, drip irrigation, and cover crops are being introduced, and catching the attention of many farmers who see that the cost and water savings could benefit the entire community. In the meantime, the work continues in El Paso too.
So we're going to take care of everything possible in El Paso before we start importing water from Del City.
As conservation and innovation work hand in hand to secure a sustainable water supply for both Del City and El Paso for decades to come.